Makeover Coaching Summit in Miami today, and I would just want to introduce our next presenter. Dr. Wynette is a licensed marriage and family therapist who provides individuals, couples, and family therapy for over 15 years. She has a passion to work with couples and women facing challenges in their relationships and personal lives. Dr. Wynette is a faculty member at Nova Southeastern University, where she teaches and supervises students and how to help couples and families overcome their struggles. So here is Dr. Wynette.
Thank you so much, Miss Myrna. You're awesome. Welcome, everyone. I'm so happy that everyone was able to make it this afternoon. With me today, I am so honored to have a couple that I've known a very long time, several years now. And one of the things that's so phenomenal about them is that they have been able to weather the storms. They've been determined to make it work. So with that being said, let me introduce to you Mr. and Mrs. Lonnie and Natasha Davis. Welcome, welcome. All right, so Lonnie is a property manager. He's also the owner of CCI Business, where they make custom car accessories, is what you informed me. And Miss Natasha is the assistant office manager, where she's employed as well as volunteering throughout the community is a passion of yours as well. All right, so to start off, gang, how long have you been married?
19 years.
Well,
we've been together 19 years, married 9.
Together 19 years. Wow, that must have been like when you guys first became teenagers. You look so great, amazing. All right, so tell me a little bit about how you met.
Well, we met in college. He approached me. Well, his brother actually introduced us. I was leaving school one day, and his brother pulled up in front of me and made him come out the car and come talk to me.
So what was behind that, Mr. Lonnie?
Well, I was in a relationship actually at the time that I was about to get out of.
Okay.
And my brother didn't like the girl I was dating before, so he was like, "That girl cute. You need to talk to her." And I was like, "Nah, I'm straight. He was like, "You gonna do it today?" He pulled the car up and said, "Hey, my brother want to talk to you." And I was like, "What?" So I just got out the car and I talked to her.
And
got
it's
a number, and actually she didn't give me her number.
I was real hard to get. I said, maybe the next
Good
time
for
you see
you.
me, I'll give it to you. And then I saw him again, and I was like, oh, I guess I gotta give it to him.
All right. That's beautiful how you guys met. So one of the things that has always impressed me about both you, Lonnie, and Natasha is how 19 years ago you met, and today you guys still seem to have that amazing vibe and phenomenal energy and connectivity and intimacy. So how would, using your words, you describe your relationship currently 19 years later?
You know what? Listen, no relationship is ever going to be perfect. You know, I think once you figure out that if you're expecting a perfect relationship, it's bound to fail because you're going to have your expectations way too high. So I feel like, you know, as long as you understand that you're not going to have a perfect relationship and you got to keep working towards it, that's what keeps the relationship going. I mean, I would say that's my reasoning behind it, and you know, I mean,
I think for a long time, I always, like he said, like we always think the other person is perfect, but then after being together for so long, you realize we're not perfect. So once you realize that you don't have all these high expectations, you know, we're human, we're gonna make mistakes. So once you realize that, you're like, you know, and sometimes you look at other couples and you're like, wow, they're so perfect. But then once you start talking to them and they start talking to you, you're like, they're not so perfect as they seem, you know?
I think that's a really good point, especially right now with social media, where we want to definitely constantly realize, you know, be careful what you're wishing
There's a lot
for.
of fake portrayal out there. you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it could throw you off your game when you're trying to follow what other people are doing. So, you know, you just gotta do what works for you, you know.
Everybody looks like they're perfect on social media, but they could have just posted a happy picture but just got into a fight. So
It's the truth.
But it's true. So.
It is true.
Yeah.
So, gang, can you use feeling words for me to describe exactly how you guys feel towards each other right now, these days?
Well, I mean, if I had to use a feeling, I would say amazed.
Amazed. Tell us more.
I mean, you know what? Out of all of the relationships I've been in, I gotta say that being with Natasha, she's probably the most grounded person that I've ever been with.
Wow.
And she's just, I'm not saying she's perfect, but she seems like she's an angel. Like, you know, I mean, compared to me, I used to be all over the place, you know, but when I got with her, she settled me down because she's just so calm and, you know, about things. And
Wow.
so I just be amazed at her and just her way of how she handles stuff, you know. I mean, me, I'm ready to get at them, but she calmed me down. So she amazed me in that way.
Wow, I love that answer, Lonnie, because one of the things that always have struck me about you guys is the balance, your ability to remain balanced, which is so important. Go ahead,
Like we
Natasha.
balance each other out. Like I'd say now I feel happy. Like we balance each other out. We're like kids. Like when we first met now. Like we go to the arcade for date nights, or we go to the movies and we just have fun together.
Date nights.
Yeah.
My ear heard that.
Very,
Tell me
very,
more
very-
about the date nights.
I think that's very important in a relationship. You shouldn't just be sitting at the house all the time. You should always try to do things and trying to keep
Spicy. Keep
the
it
spice
spicy.
going. You
Can't
know, keep
Netflix
the-
all the time.
Can't Netflix all the time. You know, get out, take. You know, sometimes I've gotten to this point now where I try to do things that I didn't do before.
Ooh.
You know, try to go out of the box sometimes. So I think that has earned me a lot of points, you know, doing stuff like that. A lot of men fail to do that, you know, and I just try to do the opposite of that.
Wow.
Like one of our date nights we did, well, it was his birthday. So we just went to Miami for the weekend, and we stayed in a hotel, and we went to South Beach and just walked the strip, drank, had fun, went to restaurants, and just carefree. Even though we weren't like away, we were kind of still away. So it was just fun, and we did it for a weekend and came back home, but it rejuvenated us. So like we kind of just got away from work, life, bills, and were able to just have fun for a weekend.
Wow, I think that's a great point that you guys are making, because sometimes as couples, we have a tendency to think that it has to be this big fiasco and we really have to impress each other. But it can be right there in your hometown to get away. Just set aside that time and that space to really enjoy each other and connect and make it about one another.
Exactly.
Wow, great points. And then, of course, I want to ask and explore a little bit more about of course, 19 years, life is life. It has its ups, it has its downs. So tell me a little bit more about some of the more challenging feelings that you've had while in the relationship. And if you can let the audience know, how have you been able to overcome them?
I think for me, I was very passive aggressive. So like if I would get mad at him for something, like he said he was gonna run an errand and do something and he didn't do it, or I would get upset, or maybe we just had a disagreement. I was the type where I would hold it in, but he would know I was upset, so I would just be really silent and not say anything, but give him the cold shoulder. And he's the type, he would just say he's upset, okay, but I would like hold on to things for a long time. And it'd be like a couple of days and I'm like, all right, I guess I should talk to him. And he would be the type where after we talked, he would just be like, okay, he'd let it go, but I would still hold on to it like for a couple of days.
So building resentment.
Yeah,
Resentment.
I would hold on to it for a couple of days, and then when I was ready to talk, then I would talk. And after a while, I realized this is not working. I just need to just say what's on my mind. So now I've gotten to the point where like if we have a disagreement, or he'll come home and he'll already know I'm upset. So he's like, "You mad at me, aren't you?" And I'm like, yeah, I'm mad because of X, Y, Z, but I'm not gonna hold it against you. I forgive you. I'm done. It's over. Okay.
So do you guys have the conversation so he
Yeah.
knows how you feel, what the
Yeah.
experience was like for you?
And he'll like, you know, like I'll say why I was upset and he'll be like, all right, babe, I'm sorry. I get it. And then I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna hold it against you. Okay. Whereas before, I just would never say I was upset. I would just hold it all in and just be mad and not say anything. I just give him the silent treatment all day.
Pretty much thinking he could read your mind.
Yeah, because he's
We do
supposed
that
to.
sometimes.
I'll be like, well, he should know I'm mad because he did this, you know. So.
Right, right.
I mean, I gotta say, you know, when we first got together, I didn't understand that behavior at first. So, you know, I used to buck against it, and it would create an argument. And then at the end of the day, you figure out you're arguing over something so silly, so goofy. You know what I'm saying? So it just got to a point now. It's just easier for me to just say, you know what? You right, babe. You right. Let's move on to the next thing. Because at the end of the day, it's like you're gonna keep being mad over silly stuff, and you might miss the big picture, you know, and something might just come right past you, and you don't notice it because you're focusing on all this unnecessary stuff.
Wow.
So I just learned to just like be a little bit more understanding, bend a little bit more, and it works. Guys, it works.
I think that's such a great point, you know, for that. Here we go again with balance, for both of your voices to be heard. It sounds like, Natasha, you were the one who was more quieter, hold it in. Lonnie, you're more type A, and no one has to speculate what you're feeling, thinking, etc. So just to have that balance and meeting her, bringing it down, and then Natasha, you needed to bring it up, allow your voice to be heard, and then you guys have been able to resolve any conflict that comes up. It's working well for you.
I think now I've gotten to the point where when I get upset about something, like I can't hold it in at all. Like I'm like, all right, well, let me call him and tell him what I'm upset.
Complete opposite.
Yeah, complete opposite. Like I can't hold it in anymore. I just have to once I get it out, I'm like, oh, all right, I got it out.
Talk about growth, major growth. All right. So what would you guys, if you had to say, was the greatest lessons that you've learned along your journey and your path? What would it be?
I'd say learning how to let go, learning how to forgive, and just not holding on to stuff so much. Because when you hold on to it, it doesn't really affect him, it affects me more. Because I feel like I'm blocking myself because I'm holding all this tension in, and he doesn't even know why I'm upset. And now that I've learned to just let it go, it feels like you're free when you just let it go.
For me, I think I learned to be a little bit more patient, you know, because I was a very impatient person about things in life before I got with her. You know, when I want it now. That's the type of mentality I have. I chase everything like that, you know, everything I do in my life, I chase it. If I can't have it, I get frustrated. But then I started to learn that, you know, you can't have everything at that time you want it. You know, you gotta learn that, you know, when it comes to you, it's gonna come to you. So, you know, just keep striving, keep moving forward. And I just learned that being with her. You know, before I was with her, I was wild, you know, just wild, just doing whatever I want to do. But she settled me down a lot. So I think she settled me down in a way where I can be better around other people too.
Whoa, that's huge. Not only internally, the work that you've done with yourself, plus the contribution of your partner.
Right.
Now it overflows.
Yes.
You
That's
know.
true. It does overflow because sometimes like I think with me learning to let go and just learning to forgive and just not hold on to stuff, even just people in general. Like if they would upset me or say something that I didn't like, now I can like say it, whereas before I would just hold it in. They would sense something was wrong and they'd be like, what's wrong? And I'm like, nothing. And I would just pull back, I wouldn't say anything. But now I can just say, okay, this is why I was upset with you. This is what you did. Let's just talk about it and just hash it out.
Look at that.
And now I can do it and not have any like ill feelings when half the times they didn't even know I was upset with them.
Look at that.
So.
Wow, phenomenal. So with today, our topic being Make Me Over, what suggestions, advice could you give to our audience or our viewers as far as how to make over their relationship? If maybe they're struggling, they're headed to divorce court, or they're in this stale, stagnant relationship, living like roommates, what suggestions would you give them?
I mean, I would say definitely therapy. because we're a prime example. I mean, at first I was a little hesitant, but I mean, now I look forward to going. So I would definitely say therapy, because you're getting somebody that's looking at you from a non-judgmental point of view. So, you know, they don't know us. They're not gonna say, well, you're wrong. They don't know us. And you just kind of, you get all your feelings out that you couldn't get before.
Wow, that's powerful. Thank you, Natasha. Anything
I would
you want to
say
add?
something along the lines of that. Don't be afraid to talk to somebody, you know, that could offer some advice, good advice, because everybody don't have good advice, but, you know, speak to somebody and try to get a perspective on it, and, you know, and not only that, don't go into a relationship thinking it's gonna be perfect.
Wow.
Because if you think that, you're just gonna set yourself up for failure. So I think that's very important for a lot of people. Just try to be realistic about going into a relationship with someone and learning them, living with them, learning their behaviors, and seeing if it's something you want to deal with for the rest of your life. You know, a lot of people just jump into marriage and they don't test that water, you know, and I think that's the reason why divorce rate is so high.
Unfortunately,
you know, so.
right?
We were like, we were babies, literally, when we got together. I was 17 and he was 19, so we grew up together. So there was still a lot of things that we didn't know about each other, and we're still learning about each other.
Still learning.
Yeah.
We never get there. Continual work in progress. Wow, Lonnie and Natasha, thank you guys so much for being my guests today. And you know, as I wrap up, I really just love the fact, and I encourage the audience and our viewers to really don't be afraid to say yes, to invest in yourself. The stronger you are, the stronger the relationship can be. Investing in yourself, what it would look like, it has so much to do with your ability to say yes. I may need assistance, I may need some guidance, or just do something. Just don't sit there and let everything fall apart. Thank you so much.
Thank you.